The person driving has that in tow slams on his brakes, and then like the front of the ship, like the little thing, goes straight through the back of the truck and nails the dude through the head. And his two little kids like, grandpa, whatever. That when he was doing that, when we were filming that, these little kids are being covered in blood, right? And then he talks all his scenes to this microphone, right? Oh, being like, okay, look this way now, do this, do that, more blood. And so when that was happening, all you heard was,
oh my God.
And I remember seeing, I'm looking at Addison, I'm looking at Nell, and we're all just like, So I just looked to the camera. I was like,
I thought we started.
I
thought we started the pod, man.
That's funny.
No, but dude, I seen on like TikTok, like it was like New York,
man,
Las Vegas, LA, all
Yeah.
the big cities completely empty.
Yeah, you know Fremont Street, like with the whole, you could like, what's it called? You could zip line across the whole like screen and everything. All the shops are beneath you. Just it's packed all the time.
Yeah,
desolate. You could just ride a bike through all like downtown strip and everything. It was
Did it feel like a zombie apocalypse movie for you?
Absolutely. Like,
Did you watch zombie apocalypse movies during the
yes.
pandemic? That's all I watched,
like
bro.
The whole remember the first episode of Walking Dead when he's on the horse? Or Steven Yeun's driving the Mustang up and down the freeway.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was just dead.
Dude,
it was crazy.
Such a weird time, man. I'm so glad we're out of that. Every time I ask somebody, like today we had an actress and her publicist here, and I was like, how long you guys been friends? She's like, oh, wow, we've been through some shit. I was like, all right, friendship in BC times, or like BC. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, before COVID. Or after?
Yeah, it's literally, That's the only way you can kind of describe
it,
man.
COVID changed up our entire industry, bro.
Absolutely.
I mean, we used to have to audition in person, drive across LA, go to Santa Monica, 15-minute audition. But nowadays, right, it's self-tapes. For you, do you like self-tapes? Do you not like self-tapes? What's your opinions on self-tapes?
Dude, I honestly I go back and forth with that all the time. I hate Zooms. So I don't mind self-taping. Okay. Like I kind of just be like, you can have as many takes as you can to get it right, or feel comfortable and confident about it. But I'm a basketball player, athlete, so I like the whole thing of it's game time, like you got to show up or whatever. I appreciate that, but the pressure of it, you know what I mean?
And seeing who folds under pressure.
Exactly, you know what I mean? Because there's something that you can have confidence in that, being like, oh, I can show up here, like I got it,
Oh, for sure.
But I don't know, man. I still struggle with that. Of like, do I want to tape in person? Do I want to continue doing self-tapes or whatever? They have the
give you the option too, right? To tape with a reader.
Or
casting
Zoom
associate or something.
Yeah.
Have you done one of those yet?
No, not like out of choice. Because I'm afraid of the lag. I just did a callback the other day. And one of the casting directors associates like flubbed a line and like skipped over like 3 lines.
Shut up!
But like because she was lagging, so she couldn't do anything about it. Like she thought the scene was going.
Yeah,
it's like there's just technology, man. And that's the one thing that sucks about.
Bro, I always tell everybody, I'm like, you can't trust technology too much. Even the new cars that we have, right? Like my girl has a Kia, and like she never looks over her shoulder. And she's like, nah, it tells me. I'm like, babe, look over your shoulder.
No, you just like put the blinker on. You have the blind side, like the blind spot, the blinker thing.
It gives her a blind spot camera on her dashboard, so she doesn't even have to like. But I'm like, dude, if that thing lags, you're
done.
Screwed. You're done. You're flipping Toretto style. Don't do it.
Damn.
But no, for sure, man. I will say the thing I miss about doing like in-person auditions was like, I don't want to say you knew when you got it, because there were certainly times where you had a good feeling.
Yeah.
And even if like you didn't get called back, you knew when you booked the room.
Yeah, exactly.
You just felt it.
Like you left an impression and everything.
Absolutely.
And sometimes even if it didn't land, you're like, okay, I did a good job.
Yeah.
And it actually helps you let go of it quicker.
Yeah.
Not just being like, oh, I'm wondering what they're thinking. It's like you felt good. Yeah. But like, it's probably not going my way, but I did a good job.
100%.
You know what I mean? So it was validation that everybody always talks about. I don't hear anything back.
When you're doing a self-tape, you send it to the dark abyss, and you're like, is anyone out there?
It's like the whole thing, that video. Some guy throws a rock into like a deep abyss and they're cave diving and they just throw it and they don't hear anything.
Bro.
for like 5 minutes. And then it's just, dang.
That's a great analogy, man.
That's what self-tapes are like.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. So I want to know about your process a little bit, like speaking on your new show, bro, HBO, one of the biggest, or now it's Max.
Max, yeah.
Sure, they changed their name.
Yeah.
Same thing, HBO, no?
Yeah. HBO Max.
But it's It's one of the biggest platforms across the globe right now, and you got one of the hottest shows in the world right now.
It's weird.
PITT.
Yeah, it's weird.
Dude, tell me about the process for that. Was that self-tape? Was it in the room?
Yeah, that was self-tape as well. I was living in Oregon at the time with my mom and my brother.
That's right, dude. You told me you were like on a farm, right?
Yeah, dude. I was in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the
chopping
woods. Chopping wood. I was coaching a basketball team, doing self-tapes at night when my mom got home to read with me or whatever. But yeah, I used to like just film it like outside of my bathroom because like we didn't have like a tape wall, right? So it'd be like I'm used to having like Peter set up, right? Where you have that whole backdrop, camera,
lights,
everything.
Everything green screen.
And I'm just putting my phone on my wall and just taping it like that. But for the PITT, I did I got the audition. Mateo, it said late 20s, and I was 22, so a year ago. At the time, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll audition for it. Like I know these casting directors. I'll tape it. I didn't expect to hear anything at all because I'm way younger than Mateo.
Yeah,
and did it, and then like 3 days later, I got a call back to go over Zoom or whatever, and it kept getting pushed for a little bit. But I was like, oh, that's so weird, man. Like But wait, let me back up. The one thing that the reason I booked it was because my mom told me, because she works in a hospital in Oregon now, essentially. She's kind of like the front desk lady. And she was like, I did the read a couple times, and then she was like, no, you need to speak with more assertiveness, but like gentleness, but like you're speaking as if you really know what you're talking about, but you're calm about it, and but you let the audience know that I know what I'm talking about, but like you're gentle about it. And so I did the tape, did 3 takes. The first 2 was me, and then my mom gave me that note. And then that's the one I sent. And then I was like strictly off of that. And that was one thing that the Erica and everybody, Kathy, kind of praised me about, was like that note of being, you have this assertiveness but calmness. And I'm like, that's my mom. It's like my mom gave me that note. So, but yeah, I did the audition, self-tape, call back here in LA when I drove down here to do it, and then booked it off of that, and then it was really quick. Some of the main characters.
Worked with the producers of that show before on Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
correct?
John Wells. Yeah.
That's right.
It was just John Wells and his production team.
Okay.
For their Parallax Productions or something like that. But yeah, a lot of the crew members were from Animal Kingdom as well. So
I was gonna say, so you kind of had that chemistry going on. There wasn't like the overwhelming like brand new set. I don't know a single person here, right?
Yeah, I remembered people's faces. Yeah. But the one thing is that people didn't really recognize me until they really like looked at me for a second, because I was a little kid when I was doing Animal Kingdom. And so
now you're a man,
I was grown up and stuff. And so they're like, were you by chance, were you on Animal Kingdom? And I was like, yeah. They're like, were you that kid? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, you remember me? I was like, yeah, dude.
That is so funny.
But it was weird. It was weird walking to a set being and think about John Wells Productions, dude. Like I hope all my buddies can work on one of them at one point, because dude, there's nothing like it. It's you walk in there, it's business, no sides, coming off book, everything, no phones. It's just everybody's there to do their job. Everybody gets along. They don't tolerate anything bad. So you're there, actors haven, play around for however long you're on set. Yeah. And you do that, you go home. And it's the same thing over and over again. And it's the most like no bullshit thing bro. Ever. And
it sounds like an actor's paradise for set.
The best, man. Like,
yeah.
The reason why it's so intense on screen and stuff is because everybody was on the same wavelength, because there's no distractions and there's no BS going on. It was just everybody was just there, you know.
For the viewer who's not familiar with the show, what's the show about? Like,
it's it takes place in a day, so you're basically seeing these workers in a Pittsburgh trauma center go about their day in the ER, the emergency department, and the trials and tribulations of it all, and how they're understaffed and underpaid, and the consequences of it. It's a real thing, you know? Yeah. And so it's something that John Wells told all of us that he wanted to illuminate, of like show how hard and what these people go through. And they're the literal heroes saving people's lives, and they're in these conditions, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much what it's about. And happens in a day. And so
15 episodes, correct?
15 episodes, 15 hours.
So each episode's like an hour
of shift.
Whoa, dude, that's really cool.
It's wild.
So it's kind of like you're there. It's almost like you're there like a fly on the wall during a shift.
Absolutely.
For the viewer, for the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the craziest, like, dude, the continuity that these set deck had to like the props.
Oh man, they must have lost their mind.
They were losing their mind. Like they
with the tools and all this stuff.
everything.
Like, no, it's on that side.
Dude, we were told at the beginning our stethoscopes, like put them on one way and remember it, because if you flip it and everything,
and every cut,
like,
it's different.
Yeah. You have to remember all these things, and so you had to remember where your pins were or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did something where, not to get the like Cody and all these people, I didn't want them to be mad at me. I got a black pin, a white flashlight, and a white pin, and so I just always remembered that the black pin was in the middle. Yeah. So I just did this thing, and then it was just. But the continuity, man, was just because it all takes place in a day. It was everything you placed down in a scene, somebody came over, took a picture of it, and everything. Even if an extra was moving something, they took a picture of it. Did you? I know this, but you know I gotta ask. I'm interviewing Jalen. Sure.
So tell us about you had to do training before.
Yeah, dude.
Right, for this project, because you're playing an ER nurse?
An ER, triage nurse, an ER nurse, but I'm like the waiting room area of checking people in, and the first kind of layer before they go into the
So tell us about the training you had to do before.
I
know you know how to take blood now, right?
I took yours before. I'm trying to
do it. Even though my shirt says Sangre Mia, you know, it's mine, not yours, man.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. It was a week. The nurses had a week because we didn't have to learn that much as the doctors. So the doctors did 2 weeks because they were having to learn how to like intubate and like, you know, reset people's hips and shoulders and on like mannequins and stuff and all that. And what the nurses learned was the lingo of, I'm sure the doctors learned this as well, but you know, certain codes and levels of trauma, signs and patients to look for in the waiting room. So in some of the scenes in triage where it's very kind of crowded and hectic, what's really cool is you see some of these background nurses and the nurses, the four of us, that the way we're paying attention to certain backgrounds or whatever is kind of, what's it called, the tentativeness for like the levels of trauma that you're seeing. So we got to learn the signs that need critical help like right now and some that don't. So we learn how to draw blood, do tourniquets, chest compressions.
Dude, the blood part freaks me out.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like anytime I get my blood done, I can't. I look away and the nurse was like, "Does blood scare you?" I'm like, "It doesn't scare me. I just don't want to see a needle go into my veins."
It's weird, man.
I started to question it. I'm like, "Wait, how big is my vein? Like, what if the needle goes through my vein? Like, how are you?"
That happens, dude. People do that sometimes, and like it can be bad.
I probably shouldn't know this.
No,
bro, I hate talking about blood. I hate talking about veins.
There was one of the cast members came to set one day and was like, "Yo, look at my arm. I went to get my blood work done," and the nurse was like, "Who drew your blood?" And because it was so bad, like it was awful. But yeah, man,
dude. One time, I fucking went to just get a checkup, get my blood done and stuff, and like the nurse, you know, she saw on my block, she was a fan, and bro, she started shaking before she takes my blood. Right, and I didn't want to be that guy. I was like, you know what? Okay, lady, can I get a different? You know,
was she just like,
bro? She poked me like 9 times.
No,
couldn't get it. We had to switch arms.
No,
they ended up getting another nurse to do it. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so nervous.
Damn.
I'm like, it's all good. Just my arm's all messed up now, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what's crazy is, dude. We learned too is that, you know, some people they don't have good veins, right? So you can't find them. So you can find here, and sometimes you can even find on the top of your hand, you know? Some people
they take blood.
You can take blood from your hand, dude, you know?
I'm about to pass out on this episode, bro.
We learned all these cool little tricks. There's actually an episode, I think, coming up where I actually take blood from somebody's hand because it was a bigger gentleman, and I couldn't get a vein and everything, so I had to go to the top of his hand.
Shut
and so I was like, oh, you can do that?
Wait, did you do that actually on the show?
Oh, no, we didn't draw blood. But you're basically, they do these things where like it's a dummy one, so you put it onto somebody's skin, the needle retracts, but once the needle retracts, blood squirts out into your thing, so you're actually feeling like you're doing it, and so you have to do it properly. Dude, because you know
what's funny, I did this film called Bad Hombres, and I was working with Nick Cassavetes. My character's he's at the veterinarian. Is that how you say veterinarian?
Yeah, veterinarian.
I'm just an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm veterinarian. He's at the veterinarian's office, and then my character's like shot in the leg, and he's trying to like see a doctor, but he can't go to a real
pets,
doctor.
Right? You're talking about
pets,
veterinarians.
And he goes to the veterinarian.
Yeah,
I can't even say the word, bro.
Veterinarian.
I'm like
veterinarian.
You seen Anchorman or what's that show? Jim Carrey. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening right now, bro. Best movie ever. I love that movie. But no, I was over there at the B spot.
B spot. Okay.
Anyway, I'm down
going.
there, bro.
Keep it going.
I'm shooting this scene with Nick Cassavetes. Director Stahlberg comes in there, and you know, I got like a fake gunshot wound with fake skin, fake blood coming out. It's like a big patch on my leg. Fake blood, fake skin, right? So, but it looks real. Fake needle, fake everything, except for one of them. One needle was real.
Oh shit!
And it's supposed to inject liquid into my IV or something like that, right? But in the scene, one of the needles is supposed to like poke my leg to numb it. And that's the fake one. And then the real one is supposed to go in the IV, right?
Right.
Okay, you know where I'm getting at, right? So we're doing the rehearsals. I'm working with Cassavetes, and Cassavetes is a G, man. That's literally my all-time favorite director of all time. Incredible guy. He's lived such a fantastic, he's lived such he has so much wisdom in his life, right? Before we shoot our scene, he goes, hey, just so you know, I'm a little older. I might forget a line or two. We'll just play around.
I know exactly where this is
and he's
going.
Like, I forget things a lot. I forget a lot of shit. And I'm like, oh, dude, no worries. Bet. And then I start putting 2 and 2 together. I'm like, hold on. He's supposed to poke me with the needle. That's fake. And then the real one. And we do it a couple takes, right? Yeah. And everything went smooth. And then before you know it, bro, the needles look exactly alike. Yeah. And I was like, yo, hold up, bro. And I literally called cut in the scene. Shit. I was like, Stahlberg. I'm like, hey, bro, you know, would you mind getting rid of that real needle? Because I just don't want no accidents. He pokes me in the leg for real and like inject. What would happen if that did it? I mean, you're a nurse now, right? So, what would happen if someone got a real needle and poked? Like, what would happen?
Oh, it's all about like into your
if someone got a needle and put it into your skin and like put like the air.
Oh, so if somebody puts like think about it, it's like if you put a needle or whatever, drawing blood or something, and just you're pushing air into a vein. Yeah. And just pop it. You know what I mean? So it's a whole thing too, as being, you know, so you know, IV bags, you know, that's like coming down into your IV and giving you fluids and everything like that. If there's an air bubble in the tube that you're connected to, that can do the same thing too. So that's why when nurses are always checking out the lines, whatever, they're trying to make sure there's no air bubbles, anything like that, because it could be really bad. So
I could have died.
You could have died.
So Cassavetes owes me a movie. 3-picture deal. Cassavetes, let's go. Come on, my man.
That's funny, dude. No, but like it's
and I'm sure. Crazy. Hey, I'm be honest. I'm sure he knew what he was doing. You know, but movie sets could get messy, man. So I was like, fuck that.
There was a couple times, you know, there's a couple times on the pit where, you know, all of us were just like, it gets pretty chaotic in some of the scenes to come and everything. And it's like, it's some of the extras, man. Like they were, bless their hearts, they were like okay with, I'm tourniqueting somebody's arm, right? And I can't just be like, I'm just doing it gentle and everything. Like I'm taking your arm, I'm trying to put this tourniquet on as tight as I can. But like, you're doing some things that are gonna not feel comfortable sometimes, 100%. You know. But 100%. Never, ever were there times where you gotta
do like what do you call it?
The chest compressions, dude. Bro, oh my god, there was episode 8 that had just come out 2 weeks ago. Right. A drowning victim, a little girl who was like 8 years old, right? In the script, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be me to do the chest compressions in the scene, and I was just like, I told the AD, I was like, I don't want to do this because it's crazy, man. Like you're doing chest compression, you have to make it look real, so they have you you're not pushing onto their chest, you're pushing onto the bottom of your hand while bending your elbows, because there's nothing worse than seeing somebody do chest compressions and they're just like, like it just looks so fake, right? Like, so they're legit teaching us how to like absorb all the pressure that we're putting in our hips and in our arm. And I was like, I had not done CPR on the show yet until I was gonna do it on the little girl, and I was just like, nah, I'm not doing that. I was just like, I'm not doing that, dude. I was just, I can't,
Oh man. So what ended up happening?
So they gave it to Whitaker.
You're like, she died.
She did die.
Did she die? Oh, fuck, man. Ah, man. I know it's just TV, bro, but fuck, man.
That was funny. That was funny. Yeah, but the young actress that did, she was great. She was so fun. It was a really heavy scene.
I know, she's 11.
Yeah, she was. Dude, every single time we were doing the scene, it was really heavy in there. Yeah. And so she would sit up in the after when we're done filming a scene, and she'd be like, "I want Skittles." And so everyone's like, "Okay, we're chilling." You know, it was fun.
Yeah.
But Whitaker, the student, ended up doing the chest compressions, and it worked because it was kind of a bit throughout the whole thing is that he's having to do chest compressions on all these people, and he doesn't want to do it.
Oh, wow.
And so he had to do it on the little girl again, you know?
Yeah,
so it worked, you know? But I was so nervous, man, because it gets messy. And, you know?
Yeah, of course, man.
Your adrenaline kind of takes over in those situations where, you know, it needs to be second nature.
No, for sure.
It seemed like it, and I was just like, I can't. I'm not there yet, you know?
I hear you, man. I hear you. You know what? It's funny. I just saw a film with your co-star, Noah Weil. Is that how you say his last name?
Wiley.
Sorry about that. Noah Wiley. I saw him in he did a film with my boy At the Gates. Have you seen that one? He did a film with my boy Ezekiel. It's called At the Gates. I just saw that and I was like, oh shit, that's my other boy's freaking co-star. It's a small world, man. He's crushing it, man. It's you know, that show is being compared to Grey's Anatomy. Correct? Way better.
Way better.
Way better. Oh, there we go.
I'm not trying to start any beef, but like, hey.
No, we're starting beef here.
different lane.
But it's like people are saying like it's people are like, man, I haven't seen a show that really gives you a sense of the truth. Really, like it's really accurate. Yeah. What people are saying.
To like everything, just the chaos of the waiting room to the dialogue, what they're saying to each other.
How do you guys get that authentic feeling? Is it the writing? Is it the directors? Dude, like, you guys have like nurses in the writer's room for that stuff?
So we had this writer, Joe Sachs. Okay. He was on ER for a while. He's a great guy. But he was an ER doctor for a very, very long time.
He was an ER doctor?
Yeah, so we had we had Lizzie, we had Joe, and we had, why am I blanking on his name? It's the OG. I love him to death. We had like three main, like they're Dr. Fred.
Okay.
We had all these people.
They're gonna say Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, you know. He all these people, they were kind of like what's it called, consulting doctors and nurses. And then you have background nurses. The majority of nurses that are in trauma scenes that you'll see that aren't main cast, they're all real nurses. So like when they were done doing background, sometimes they'd be off the next day. They'd be actually at like Cedars or something working. So Joe Sachs, though, he's a writer, is a producer of the Pit, and also was a producer of ER and a writer for ER, if I'm correct. Okay. But he was involved in ER as well. Right. So everything that was happening in the Pit was all loosely or to a T based on something that he had actually seen or done or like helped on. And then he had all these other people kind of putting in their things. So it's very, very realistic because from the top down, you have these people who they're trying to make it super realistic and to the point of like we were told that when we were rehearsing, sometimes we'd be just saying the blood pressure of some patient just to, like, if you're the person in the gurney and I'm saying your BP's 130/60, it's probably not even a good example, but I'd be saying that to you when in reality I'm supposed to be looking here.
Bro, you're speaking Mandarin right now. Hold on, man.
wait. But like they were teaching us being like, oh, don't say it to him. Yeah. Say it like you're looking and you're getting it off of this thing. Or if like, you know, the biggest thing that's the craziest thing that I saw in so many TV shows that I learned in this one that you're not supposed to do, I'll ask you this question. When do you take out those paddles and zap somebody? Like, when do you do it? What happens that causes you to do that?
Give me a couple options here. Hold on now.
Do you
I didn't sign up for this test, dude. Hold on now. Give me A, B, C, or D, all right? Hold on now.
Okay, A. Do you do it when a person their heart beats irregular, or do you do it when they flatline? So like when they're the
flatline,
they flatline when it goes like this. Yeah. So in all TV shows, everybody thinks that like it goes, you know, it's beeping and it goes, that you're supposed to shock it.
Yeah, that's cinema, if you shock cinema IQ right there.
If you're killing them if you shock a flatline. You're never supposed to shock a flatline.
Stop.
So you're supposed to shock.
So we've been getting lied to our whole lives on TV.
Absolutely. And film. I'm sure there's some things, some scenarios where like you can try, but you're not supposed to at all ever. If I stand correct, but like, so we were any single time you see us shock somebody, it's kind of when he's going into VFib. or whatever. Like his kind of heart's his race is kind of irregular, so you're trying to shock the heart to make to like shock it to like be like get back and like you're slapping somebody across the face stay with me now.
Yeah, it's like a double espresso coffee shot.
Exactly. Like somebody just like having like a panic attack, and you're like, oh, you slap him like stay here. That's what you're doing to the heart.
Snap out of it, man.
Exactly. It's like hey, but you're never supposed to shock a flatline ever.
Never supposed to slap a patient.
Wake up. Yeah, dude. And
wait,
then,
you're never supposed to do that when they flatline?
Ever.
I didn't know that.
Never.
So what do you do if they flatline? Do you inject them with
chest compressions?
Oh, chest compressions, really?
To kind of keep the blood flow going and everything.
What's that one needle? The big ass needle. It's like
I'm saying all this stuff, and I'm saying all this stuff. I'm kind of just like
we're gonna get fact checked by some doctor.
I'm be like, I think this is correct. I'm saying it with so much confidence. Come
hey man, at the end of the day, y'all, we actors. I'm fake. Yeah. It's just like, hey, maybe some doctor on the job is like, he just flatlined. I'm not gonna give him the Jalen said not to.
But it was funny. Madison, you remember the twins?
Yeah.
So Madison's a paramedic, and so she said the same thing. She's like, this show is like the most accurate.
Oh, wow.
And I told her, I was like, yeah, you're never supposed to shock a flatline. She's like, nope. And I was like, oh, wow.
Whoa, dude. I had no idea. So you've learned a lot of interesting little things.
Absolutely.
On there. How is it for your mom seeing you on a show, bro? Like that's like similar to her work, right?
It's somewhat similar to her work. She's kind of just in the front of being like taking patients in. But
sure. But she's in the environment.
She's in the environment, yeah. And so she loves it to death. Yeah. It's the first thing that I've ever done where my brother doesn't watch television. He watches like, Severance and like Arcane and things like niche things, you know what I mean? But like he doesn't tolerate like things that he just doesn't like. And so this is the first.
Keeps it real.
Keeps it real. It's the first thing my brother called me. He was like, dude, you're on a good show. And I was like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, like I'm almost crying like all episodes. And I was like, shit, man.
That's the best feeling when you know somebody who just keeps it real, not a yes man, and then they tell you like, yo, that was a great job. And
it was so funny. I was talking to Noah and said, dude, after the first episode, my mom called me and she was like, you weren't in it. And I was like, I'm in there. And so she had to watch it again and be like, she was so engrossed in the whole thing.
And the drama, the story, the pacing, everything, right?
She did not pay it. She wasn't like, oh, there's my son. She was just like, Yeah. And so, because I had like four scenes in the first episode where my introduction with McKay and everything. And it was so funny because my mom was always one like, oh yeah, look at. She was just like, you weren't in it. I was like, I was there.
And then she goes back, takes the photos for Facebook.
Yeah. But I think that's a testament to like,
that's really cool, man.
I think it's a testament to how well Noah and the team did of like just creating this. It knew exactly what it was from the very beginning. And
which is good. It's good, dude. It's good when directors, producers, they know exactly what they want out of the show. They know exactly what they don't want to be.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes, especially in 2025, in the era of fucking new shows coming out on every streaming platform every single day, shows kind of get the pressure of having to put a little bit of everything in their show.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that doesn't work, but I'm saying it could be overwhelming for the audience.
Sure.
Know what you're shooting, know what the show's about, know what you guys like the mission. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like having a mission statement for your life, but have a mission statement for your show.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. For the characters, for the arc, for everything, right?
Yeah. And they stood on business in the sense of like they knew what they wanted, what they didn't want.
Yeah.
And they didn't fold on anything. And it's like, this is what we're doing because this is how I want it. And from the get-go, they just
I remember you told me that. Yeah. You said from the what do you call it? The table read? You're like, yo.
Oh yeah,
we felt the electricity.
I walked in there. It was like the first table read.
It's a big ass ensemble too.
Yeah, so there's so 14 of us.
There's so much ping pong. Everyone's got these arcs. It's really interesting,
dude. I did the table read for episode 1. Was we walk into we're at Warner Bros. And we're on the room where the marquee is, right?
Yeah.
So we walk in there, and we're sitting there, and then we're like, I walk in, and it's my first time meeting everybody. Yeah. I'm one of the first ones there. Noah's sitting there, and I'm like, sit down. I'm like, shit. And he's like, Jalen, nice to meet you. No. And I was like, okay, hi. And so then I finally looked up and realized we have like 1 camera, 2 camera, 3 camera, 4 camera, 5 cameras just pointed at the table.
They were recording the table read?
They were recording the table read. And then we had like 50 chairs in front of us. And then like I'm sitting there highlighting my lines.
Yeah.
And everybody's coming in, introducing themselves, the whole cast. And you see all these like executives sitting down.
Yeah.
The head of Max.
Yeah.
All these things. And you're just like, the hell's going on? And while we're doing it and you're hearing everybody speak for the first time, And I'm like, holy, like, this is actually like,
Oh,
I was
dude.
like, this is good. I was like, holy
Bro,
shit.
yeah.
I was like, I shouldn't be here right now. I was just like, holy God, what did I just get myself into?
You always know when you have a great project at a table read.
For
Really.
sure. Yeah,
you always
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah.
When the chemistry's there,
there.
when the passion is there, when the fire is there.
Yeah.
You know, one of my old acting coaches, he always told me, he's like, bro, anytime you guys are performing, whether it's a table read, first read, final read, last day, last take, whatever, you fucking perform because you can get fired from a table read.
Absolutely.
And there's actors.
There's horror stories about that, man.
There's lots of actors who get hired, whether it's the lead, whether it's supporting, guest, recruit, whatever. They do a table read and they lag it, or they don't, they half-ass it.
Yeah.
Dude, they will fire you, bro. At the end of the day, we are performers. You have to perform.
And it's a job.
It's a
You're
job.
getting paid money to do
Bro,
and show up and do these things.
What are your thoughts on that? Actors, they're like,
You said, wait.
I hate Hollywood so much. I have to perform. I hate the fame. It's like, well, your job's not that hard. Yes, it's complicated. Yes, it could be draining at times, certainly mentally. But at the end of the day, like, dude, this is a fucking dream.
Absolutely.
What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of On My Pod. I hope you guys are enjoying the episode. Really quick, before we go back to the episode, I want to touch on a topic that I get asked a lot about, and it's how did you start acting? Obviously, if you're watching this, you must have seen a show or a movie that I've been in and you want to tune in, or you're just a huge fan of the guest. Usually I have actors on this podcast. But anyway, the question that I normally get asked is, how did you start acting? And while I would love to answer that question for absolutely everybody, whether it's in Instagram DMs, on TikTok comments, on YouTube comments, or even in person when I bump into somebody that recognizes me, it was a very long process. That being said, it's not just a simple answer. I really wish it was, but there's actually a lot of steps that you can take starting today from home to start your acting career. So my best tip, join my online acting school called The Actors Campus. Here I've literally provided you the clearest and safest blueprint to start your acting career. Inside of the Actors Campus, you'll be accessing over 50 hours of pre-recorded video lessons showing you exactly how to start your acting career from scratch, all the way from the craft side of acting to the show business and networking side of Hollywood. You'll also be getting access to join my weekly live classes where I will personally be teaching you guys each and every week, providing you insight from the industry, interviewing casting directors, producers, actors, directors, writers, and more. Inside of the Actors Campus, we also have a talent showcase where you are able to participate in some of the best talent agents and managers in all of the industry, and potentially get signed and start auditioning for big gigs. On top of this, you'll also be receiving exclusive invitations to events held by the Actors Campus, such as movie screenings, Q&A panels, and essentially the whole goal of this campus and this community is to provide you guys the blueprint, the layout, and the support that I honestly just wish I had starting off. That being said, if you want to be an actor, check out the Actors Campus. I promise you, you won't regret it. All right, let's get back to the episode. You're going to Warner Brothers, one of the most iconic studios for the last 100 years, bro.
Yeah.
Doing an iconic show.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you as an actor, starting off your journey and now being here, bro?
Honestly, like when I stepped onto Warner Bros. Probably the third episode, I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I was like, holy, like I'm not there, but I was like, I'm doing something that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was dreaming of doing,
Yeah.
So the one thing I was talking to Ian Wolf about this other day, and I was like, it didn't feel different. I was like, and also I'm not a very like, oh my God, like this thing.
Well, you can't be, because if it'll put you in your head and then you're screwed.
Exactly.
You are dead.
Yeah.
That's the one sacrifice you have to make. It's like you can't get overwhelmed in the shine of it all.
Yeah, exactly. Like not what's the word for that? Like it's not marinating in it, or
you have to get so technical and like fundamental. It's like, okay, we're showing up. It's a rehearsal space. Oh, this is a stage. It's like an acting class. I gotta have my motives. Like I gotta know. I gotta know what the fuck I'm saying. What I'm doing here. Yeah.
Just holding on to it kind of loosely and just being like not taking it for granted.
Yeah.
But my feeling when it all started kind of like, oh, I'm on a show and everybody's saying it's gonna be good, and when we realized that it was gonna be good, it was when they started screening the show, and the producers would say in passing, they were like, this is a good show, and we're like, oh, okay, and they were like, yeah, and they would walk away. They weren't like, it's really good, like don't worry about it, all these things. They were just like,
we're gonna fix it in post. Yeah.
They're literally just like, no, it's good, you guys are gonna be proud. We're like, oh, okay. And so and then that's when I realized, like, holy shit, I'm
on a series. We got
on
a hit series.
Yeah, I'm like on a hit show, and it was very. It didn't feel like anything spectacular, you know. It was just I'm here right now. I'm gonna do what I'm asked and called to do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. I'm not gonna take anything for granted. I'm just gonna show up every day.
Absolutely,
work hard. You know,
respectful.
Yeah, and so like I know that it's one of my worst fears to fumble the ball when you have something come across your plate. And all it felt like to me was finding myself after everything work I put in, and I put in a lot of effort, as we talked about before.
Yes.
I was just like, oh, this is the moment where I can become comfortable and be like, I'm here already. I can kind of just skate by. It's like, no. Even if I don't even have a line today, I'm just gonna be locked in because I owe it to myself. I owe it to the people who helped me to take it seriously and not take it for granted. So all it felt like was a deep breath, just like, oh, nice, and then it was just. Okay, continue work.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think that's where we really connect. Like, we both understand what a privilege it is to really, be on a set, to be there, to be respectful, to not take it for granted. Where do you think you learned that? Was that from your mom?
I say from my mom, but also from I played basketball growing up, like at a very high level, right? So
you wanted to be a pro basketball player.
I wanted to be a pro basketball player. I had interest letters to go to college and stuff like that. And, like I was in that world, and my basketball coach, Coach Zach, shout out Coach Zach if he sees this. He just taught me how he'd always say be energy makers, not energy takers. He said this weird thing sometimes, being like, don't cry to give up, cry to keep going. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I always had this thing in my mind of being like, if just showing up and just putting your best foot forward, and the only way to know if your best foot forward is not your best foot forward is to put your best foot forward to find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to find out.
And so you got to find out. And so coming from that background, it kind of just like not taking like every single game I play in basketball, right?
Yeah,
like
gave it your all.
Gave it your all. Because what are you gonna do? Like why? You know? Exactly. And so. Like you don't deserve that if you don't want that for yourself, why would you do that?
No, and then you look back on it with regret. You're like, fuck, I didn't show up that day.
Yeah,
I didn't show. It was a small scene, sure, and the audience might not notice, but I noticed it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I look back on things I did when I was starting out, where I'm like, it's like it's a show, it doesn't require that much, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like you're working.
Yeah.
Like take it serious.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like you're saying. It's nothing crazy. Like what we do for work is it's a privilege. It's nothing like, like other jobs in the world.
Yeah.
Like every other job, right? Yeah. But it's like take it seriously. Like you want to do it.
It is a craft though, man.
It's a craft.
And what's the alternative? Not hone it, not show up half-ass it, not know your lines.
Yeah.
Give everybody a headache. You know, make everybody miserable.
Yeah, because
dude, there's actors like that.
There's like that's what I'm about to say.
Like an actor like that is one of my. I don't even want to get into it, man. One of my heroes, man. I was like, that's how you are.
But people skate by, and so it's just
and that hurts, bro.
Yeah,
because you're like telling your little kid self, the dreamer who like wished they were there, who prayed they would get there, and now it's almost like you're just, you know what I'm saying, kicking dirt at their face, bro. It's like, damn, man, for real. No, man, I totally hear you. So right now, like. The show is obviously, I heard it's renewed for season 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to. I know every actor's like, well, I can't say.
Well, I can't say.
What I can't say, it's a fantastic show.
Yeah. It got renewed about like a month ago.
Dude,
so,
that's before it even like completely finished. It got renewed.
Oh yeah.
While it was
episode.
That's so unheard of. That means it's such a great show, bro.
Dude, yeah, like it's banging right now. Yeah. So it's pretty sick.
I drove by Warner Brothers and I seen the big ass billboard there.
Oh yeah, the one of Noah's
bro,
face.
It's so cool.
He looks like a king, just like staring over, just like the road, and he's just like smoldering at you, just like I'm like, oh, I know that guy.
What are your other favorite Max? Sorry about that.
Max shows.
What are your other favorite Max shows out there right now? Like for me, it's I love House of Dragon.
Oh yeah,
so good. Euphoria season 3. I'm waiting for that.
Oh yeah,
For you, what are some Max shows that you love?
I mean, Succession.
I haven't seen that one. Is it good?
Dude, you haven't seen Succession?
Everyone's talking. I mean, that one's like the biggest show right now. I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, that's crazy.
I gotta check it out.
You need to check that out. It's 4 seasons done and stuff, but like best writing, best acting, best story. Like it's really good.
Right.
That Last of Us, of course.
Last of Us is epic. Yeah.
Let's see.
Great show.
The Righteous Gemstones. I like a lot.
Okay.
Let's see. The Sopranos, of course, is on there.
Of course. Oh, the OGs, right?
I mean, it's hard to pick.
Sopranos,
The Penguin was
Entourage.
great. Entourage. The Penguin was great. I love the Penguin.
Colin Farrell is such a fantastic actor, man.
And
Coolest guy too.
Yeah, it's just like it's hard to pick. I mean, I appreciate Max as a network. Like they kind of just put out good stuff.
They make quality, man.
They make quality, yeah. And so
entertaining quality stuff. Man.
Yeah,
good writing, good cinematography.
Yeah. It's good.
It's fantastic.
But dude, if you haven't seen Succession, man, what are you doing?
I gotta watch that.
Dude, you have to watch.
One of my favorite actors in that. He played. I mean, he's Brian. What's his last name? What's his last name? He's like British, is he?
I know
he played Agamemnon in Troy. That's like
what?
Agamemnon? Yeah. Agamemnon.
I don't know, dude. Yeah.
This is Brian. His last name.
Shoot. Is it?
I don't want to butcher. I hate butchering names, bro.
Oh, Brian Cox?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking this whole time. I was like, Tom Wamsgans. That's the guy's character's name that I love.
Oh, okay.
But Brian Cox is the father in Succession.
Yeah.
The best performer. It's fucking brilliant.
Dude, you know who's have you seen House of Dragon on HBO?
Mm-hmm.
On fucking HBOMAX.
Well, it's called Max, but it's an HBO original.
It is an HBO. Okay,
yes,
all right, cool. So there's an actor in that. He plays like the antagonist. He's like the evil guy, like the evil younger. He looks like a mini Damon. Do you know what I'm talking about? He has the eye patch. He's missing an eye in the show.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember his name. Like Aaron.
I know who you're talking about though. Yeah.
Okay. I just realized literally yesterday that he also played an iconic role in the show called The Last Kingdom. Have you seen that show with
on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so crazy. It's always fun to see an actor when you're like, holy shit, I seen him.
And they kind of, like you're watching kind of their career go from different things. And
and he played such a completely different character.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff, man.
He's good in House of Dragon, man.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah,
dude. He's
good.
Evil. He's fucking cynical.
Yeah.
Pisses me off. I'm like, I hate him, but
dude,
I'm like, that's how you know you did a good job.
Yeah, dude. There's the next, they're doing the Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Oh, is that
HBO?
With Kit Harington?
No, that's the Jon Snow spinoff. They were gonna do that.
Oh, and
but they scratched it, but they might come back to it.
Oh,
but this one's like based off of a book in the Game of Thrones world, but like they're saying it's like on par with Game of Thrones as well.
Wait, they already started production for that?
It's coming out. Yeah, like soon. Yeah.
Whoa, are they shooting that as they're shooting your show too on the?
No, they had finished it. They had shot it a while ago. And it's coming
shoot!
Out.
All right.
But yeah. So
I'm like trying to get leaks. I'm like, hold on. Is Daenerys still alive?
Is she still there? That's what I care about. Amelia.
So what's going on apart from work? What's going on in your social life, man? Like, how do you maintain? Like, I know you're big on fitness, mental health. Like, what are some I don't know, little gems, bro, that you can share with the audience, the younger you watching this, like in regards to I don't know, man, mental health. I feel like it's a tough time right now for a lot of young people out there.
Sure, absolutely. For me, just staying like physically active, play a lot of golf. I grew up playing basketball, so I've been able. If I don't play basketball, which is weird for me, of like I feel so off, mentally. Like I have to hoop, like because it's just in my blood. Like I just have. So I've been able to do that recently. I've gotten to like a little group going where we play every week. So I'm doing that, golfing, running, working out, of course. Social life, man. I'm just kind of one, catching up on mental clarity of I'm not going right now. I'm not like locked in and trying to I'm not filming right now. I'm not working. So coming off of that.
Which is so strange, right? When you're constantly going, shooting, and then it's like, okay, that's a wrap. Yeah. And then you're like, what do I do?
Who
am I?
Yeah, exactly. And I can't even imagine, dude, because like realistically, I didn't have to do that much on this show. Yeah. Like I wasn't required that much. And how it was amazing, right? I can't even imagine what like my homie Patrick Ball's going through, or like even Noah, of like that come down of being so locked in for so long, and now you just gotta relax. And so
I think that's what makes actors go crazy, man. A lot of times, because it's that constant adrenaline, that rush. Show up, then the scene's there, and like you know when you did a good job, the hype's there, that high is there. Yeah, that's, you know what I'm saying. Eli Roth talked to me about that, and we were done filming Thanksgiving. He goes, he's like, do you know what the dopamine drop off is? You know how that's gonna be, right? I was like, huh? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, it hits. He's like, call me. Like a train. He's like, call me in like 2 weeks. And I was just like, what? I was like, call me in 2 weeks. He was like, I'm gonna see you in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna check in. I was like, okay. And so, dude, after filming that, it was my first studio movie, and then meeting working with some people that I looked up to or like admired, and then coming off of that, and you're just like, like getting back into your routine. You could be like, I could see how people get lost. Oh, dude, for sure.
Just like oh no, but if you don't have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
So I think that's to answer your question of being, like not a lesson or something I could say to my younger self is like, when I was growing up, I thought, in order to be good at something, you had to like pick that thing and laser focus on that thing. And I did that for a long time with, one thing.
Yeah.
Like if it was basketball, I'm a basketball player. So when I starting to start acting, I was like, I'm acting. I went to acting class 6 times a week, like 3 classes a day. Like that, I'm not exaggerating. That's like what I did because I was just like taking my basketball experience and applying myself to like how I knew to acting. And so one thing that actors need to understand is being like, you're an actor, but it's like you're so much more. Like you have a lot of room to,
be more, have fun.
Yeah, have fun and
explore different arts.
Explore it, and like, and I talked to Noah about this before. We would always find ourselves kind of sitting with each other in the family room, like our holding and stuff. Yeah. And that metaphor that there's like this thing on YouTube where this professor's talking to his students and he's holding a jar and he says it's full of golf balls, right? And he's like, is this jar full? And then all the students are like, yes, it's full. And he goes, okay. He puts it down, grabs a bunch of rocks and then puts it in the jar. And he's like, is it full now? And so all the rocks are in, the golf balls is at the top and they're like, yeah, it's full now. And he's like, okay. He puts it down, grabs sand and puts sand in and then dumps it all the way to the top. He's like, is it full now? And he's like, yes. And so the professor's whole thing was saying, the golf balls are your important things in life, your family, your relationships, your health, all these things, your career, people would say. Yeah. And then he says the rocks are, your tiny things in the sense of, your house, your car, your boyfriend, girlfriend, you're trying to figure these things out. It's like they're not huge yet, but they're rocks. And sand is like, I ran a red light today because I was running late for something, like tiny little things, right?
Little things,
and it's like if you put the sand in first, you can't put the golf balls in. So I was telling Noah, I said at that time when we were shooting, I was like, because you get into the rhythm of shooting and you're like, I have time to kind of, venture out and, put more things in my mind. And I'm like, but my career has always been a golf ball. Yeah. And he goes, I was like, is acting a golf ball? And he says, the reason I've made it so far in this industry is because acting's never been a golf ball to me. Creativity has. And so I said, oh, so if you, and I started thinking about that and it really hit home. And I realized that I was coaching when I was back home in Oregon during the strike. Yeah. And I realized that when I was coaching, I was being creative coaching or, writing. I was creative there. Yeah. Or even, just playing basketball or golf. Yeah. And you can kind of activate this creativity wherever you are in your life. I feel like young actors, we think, and I've been an example of this too, is being like, I'm an actor, I'm doing this thing, I need to focus. Is being that's
acting only.
It's like you're so much more than that, and when you become so much more than that, your acting becomes so much more than what it was going. It becomes better,
way more vast. You're able to pull more emotional life. And so much like little intricacies.
And so when he told me, he was like, creativity is a golf ball, not acting. It's like, people's career could be a golf ball in a sense of like, I'm a doctor, right? Yeah. You have to focus. You're trying to do these things. You're passionate about it. I'm passionate about acting, but it's like when you start working, you realize that it's a craft and you lock in for a certain amount of time. You do a project for 4 or 5 months and then you go home. Yeah. It's like, it's great. You lock in, learn to lock in, but like you have time.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's a little tangent. So I'm sorry.
No, I love that, bro. I'm such a nerd for acting stuff, man. I love talking about the craft. I love talking about the process. I will say this though. I do appreciate, and I do believe that when you are first starting off in acting, it is required to have laser focus.
Absolutely.
You show up, you learn as much as possible. I don't want to say as fast as possible, but yes, as fast as possible. Try to get in all that information, learn about different methods, Stella Adler, Uta Hagen, fucking Meisner, method, all that shit. Practice, put in the reps. You know why? Because you're going to suck at first.
Sure. Yep.
Get it out of the way. The more reps you do, the better you're going to get. The better you're going to get. And that's, at my studio, the Actors Campus, we always talk about that. Like, I'm always getting my students on stage as much as possible, even if it's something silly, an exercise, this and that, little things, man, that I just want them to break out of their shell. Yeah. Because the faster they can do that, the faster we can focus on the actual work. Half the work is really just being comfortable with yourself. Yeah. Trusting yourself as an artist. And that only comes from showing up literally at the beginning, you just got to go ham, dude.
Putting your best foot forward with what you know, and then just being like,
you have to, man. You have.
But that's why I agree with you. A sense of starting out anything in your
life,
life,
and then, like you said, then it becomes like, okay, now let me not hyper obsess with this because too much of anything is very dangerous.
Yep. Me and my buddy Ian Wolf. We were talking about this recently. It was, you tried to like, the whole thing of like you're grasping sand, and if you squeeze it too much, it falls through your fingers. Yeah. But if you kind of just cradle it right, it's kind of just stays there. It's being like, when you're starting off with anything, you have to kind of grab hold of it. Yeah. And like make it yours, figure it out. But at a certain point, it becomes kind of stressful and it hurts and it's biting you, or in a sense of
leaving you scratches.
Yeah. And so then you have to like, people would say it's something, if you love something, like you're like passionate about something, people say like in relationships, let it go, right? I disagree. I've been thinking about this. I've been like nasal diving over this for a while now. I'm like, oh no, if you love something, you don't have to like let it go. And if it comes back, it's yours. It's like, if you love something so much and you're passionate about it so much,
trust
as
that
an acting,
stay there
or
in your hand.
Exactly. What I was saying is being like, if it's hurting you or whatever, change your grasp. You know what I mean? So it's like, you might have to hold on to it differently and change your form or whatever, change something in your life or change your perspective or lessen your grasp. And, cause now you got a hold of it. So now it's like, don't drop it. Yeah. Still have care for it, but like you can,
it's like a glass, right? Dude, if you squeeze this hard enough, you
can break it. Yeah, sure. It's like that.
Let me know this is a pretty thick one. Get your caffeinated actor coffee mug here at theactorscampus.com.
That was great. that was good. That was good. But yeah, it was just, it's very, at the beginning, you got to grab it, you got to focus. Yeah. But eventually it's like,
don't let it overtake your life.
Don't overtake your life, Yeah. So
there's nothing wrong with obsession. But I will say in terms of acting and the craft, it almost hurts you if you're too obsessed with it. Yeah. Because then that's all you think about. It's all you're working on. That's all your mind's on. And it's like, hey man, you're missing out on a lot of life. Yeah. And that life is actually going to make you better in your work. Yeah. So
that's what it's very strange, because I think that I had, what was this man's name? I was in Vegas and he was an older actor and he came to the acting studio I was at to do a self-tape with my teacher. He played something, his name's like Higgy the Bear. It's like a very old, that's not the name. But it was
Higgy the Bear. Hold on.
It was an old TV show, very old. And he told me he was like the best acting classes out there in the world. It's not in the room. It's like, go out there and live life, and come back here and then like break the walls down and experiment. True. But it's like, go live your life. And I think as young actors I think with social media and all the jobs that are created now that kind of deal with the press of acting or like the limelight of acting has really taken away from what I think acting and storytelling, just storytelling in general, is for. It's to make sense of unexplainable things or to have it attainable, like what's his name? Not Kevin Bacon, but Ethan Hawke said it. In a clip, he said, everybody doesn't see the purpose of, poetry or film until like a loved one dies, or, you go through a heartbreak and then you look out and you read a book or you watch a movie and you're like, oh, someone's felt what I felt before. And it's like, as an actor, as somebody that you kind of have to do your due diligence and live your life and experience things to be able to kind of step into a story and be able to explain it wholeheartedly, with some care and authenticity. Absolutely. And I think if you look at it that way, it takes a lot of stress off of being like, I'm gonna go have fun and live my life. Yeah. Acting's not going anywhere. Yeah. It's like the whole thing of my coach Zach told me, I say my coach Zach, he's many other he's other people's coaches too. Coach Zach told me, he says, basketball's not going anywhere. He's like, if you decide to stop it right now, you can stop it right now, go do something else, and it'll be here. The path might be different, but it's not going anywhere. Yeah. Everybody chases like acting of being like, it's going somewhere. It's like, no, you can kind of just.
I do want to ask you this because I struggle with this in my life. Yeah. Like I struggle a lot with paths, decisions. I'm like, okay, this path of this, doing this task or this whatever is going to take me this way. Oh, but shit, I want to go left. Shit, I want to go right. For you, when you were, because you had this dream of becoming a professional basketball player, was that a difficult decision for you to be like, you know what? I'm going to focus on acting and not basketball. Like, was that something hard for you to let go?
Absolutely. It was.
And how did you do it? Like, what was that fire of like, you know what? I'm letting go. I'm doing this.
It was like, I was playing a lot of my teammates are in the NBA now, so I was around a lot of like high level players, and you know, cameras are following them around. You know, there's money. All at a young age, like we're like 14, 15, 16. You know, And so I was seeing this side of it, and I was like, oh, that's not for me. But I was like, it was my identity, right? And so there's a feeling of like, logically, I remember thinking when my head was on my pillow at night, I was like, I don't want to wake up and play this game. I don't want to go to practice, not because I don't love it. I love this game. I don't want to do it. I remember hearing somebody said this. I don't want to wake up when I'm 40 and realize I played a game. You know what I mean? For some reason, I know it's not a game to some people. Like I was there too. I saw it as much more, but for some reason in my mind, I was like, I don't want to waste my time, you know? And so it was like this whole thing of told my mom, told my dad, my coach, and everybody around me had some kind of care for me. They were like very, okay, cool. They weren't like, how can you do that? I had a very supportive system being like, okay, cool. That's really good. But people around us were like, people would tell my mom, why are you letting your son do this? Like, why are you letting him stop? Like, he can make money. He has this whole thing like lined out in front of him. It's like, it's not what he wants to do. And so that feeling, to answer your question of, I remember feeling that I'm just gonna jump into this black void, like this unknowing thing. And I'm gonna be okay. I'm not gonna die. I'm just like, I'm gonna find a way. And so I approach all my decisions like that of being, if I don't allow myself to walk away from a path because I don't know what it's like, it's like, I made that decision when I was really young I took this huge identity jump of being like, I didn't know if I wanted to be an actor when I stopped playing basketball. I honestly wanted to be a rapper. You know what I mean? Wait, what? Hold on. I was like, I made my mom buy me like I didn't make my mom. My mom was like buying me like this beat maker or whatever thing with pads and stuff, you know, because I saw like Kendrick Lamar's video of like him making Duckworth and stuff. Oh my god! And I was like, I want to do that, dude. And so I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then so I just, the willingness to jump out there and be like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm gonna find it. Something, you know, something to apply myself to. But like,
how did it get into acting? How was that?
Dude, I was laying on my mom's floor in her room one night, just like sitting there, and I was watching a movie on my phone, and it was Hunger Games. And I remember watching Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson like give a performance. For some reason, it just impacted me. Hunger Games is like a really kind of dark thing, you know. It's good in my opinion. For some reason, it touched me for some reason, seeing young people convey very gritty and really deep emotions that, you know, about grief that I didn't think people my age could understand other than me. And so it was very eye-opening to be like, other people understand. And I always wrote stories. I always read books. And for some reason, when I watched that movie, I was like, what if I was a part of it? Like, what if I did what Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson and all these people were doing? So then I told my mom that. She eventually got me to a theater class, tried theater. At John Armin's studio. He passed away a while ago, but I did that at his studio for about 3 times, not for me. And then I found the studio, which is now known as Dream Tracks in Vegas. And from there,
were you hooked instantly?
Hooked. When you, dude, I was just like, immediately.
Time goes away. Dude, it's like you become an instrument. You're like, oh shit.
Dude, I was so
I can create life right now.
My first scene was talking, it was like 3 people in the class. And like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was auditing the class, and the teacher was like, Jalen, come on, do this scene. And I'm like, no. And my mom was like, go freaking do this scene. You know, I'm like, okay. I walk up there, and my first scene was me talking to my son. I was playing an older guy, talking to my son about why we're not getting a pet dog, you know? And from that moment, I remember just doing that and just being like, oh, like, I'm telling a story. Holy shit. I can't tell any of my friends because I think I'm corny. I was just like, I can't tell anybody. Straight up, And then, but that's pretty much how I got into it. And then I just went to class 6 times a week, no joke. 3 classes a day.
Best times of your life, huh?
Dude,
going to class.
Best times.
Just vanishing, and time vanishes. You're in the moment. You're learning shit. You understand. You're putting 2 and 2 together. You start crying in a scene. Get rage in a scene. It's like, dude, it's so therapeutic, man.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in therapy, yes, sure. But acting class is, in a weird way, it's very therapeutic. Absolutely. You let go of anger, emotion, all this trauma. you know, say it's not okay to bring it to her, but dude, for me, it fucking helped. I had
Same
so
here.
much shit in my life. I didn't know where else to express it.
Mhm.
Acting class was that safe haven.
Yeah.
Always.
Absolutely. For me too, it was, you know, helped break down walls. And then once you broke down those walls, then you were able to be like, okay, you can apply yourself to these.
Yes.
And
absolutely
look at it differently. But
you learn a lot about yourself too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can't play a character that's
you have to know you, man.
You have to know you.
A little bit, you know, not
bit.
all of you all the way. You know, we're still figuring that out day by day, but like you gotta know
a sense of self of like, you know, and your opinions and your thoughts of your emotions, and be able to look at your emotions and kind of be like, grab them and you know, and apply them to this and all that. And but that's pretty much how I got started. But like to answer your question of how do I pick a path and stuff.
How because for me, it gives me so much anxiety.
Yeah, it's like debilitating.
Left, right, straight, down, up, upside down.
There's
like,
so many ways.
Go, man.
I kind of like. My mom's always told me is being like, you'll become very present of what's supposed to happen, what feels right, you know, and how she looks at everything and what I've kind of been taking on, and I've realized it's worked for me. It's not taking the path of least resistance. It's like you're not forcing anything to happen. So it's like if I have ABC laid out in front of me, and I'm looking at all three equally, and I see an opening in A that I don't see in everything else, but I really want C. Like I really want C. I'll note that A's that way, but I'll be like, I'll push C just to be like, to see what happens. And if it lets go and it kind of opens up a little bit, I'll run with it. And if I'm not forcing anything, I'll keep it going, right? But if it shuts and everything where it's not supposed to happen, and I'm like, then I'll like back off. But I'm not saying once it gets hard, I'll stop. I think there's this weird thing. I come from an athletic background. You know, they say muscle growth happens. You aim for 10 reps, but it's the reps you do once you're failing. That's when you grow muscle.
When you grow the most.
So I'm not talking about when you push something a little bit and it gets kind of hard and you step away. It's like, no, once you kind of like, you realize that it's not going anywhere. Being honest about that. And you're not forcing it when you've already had your answer. That's when you kind of look other ways. But I look at my past that I have laid out in front of me. If I don't have anywhere and I make one, I look at one, I'll test it and I'll be like, okay, what do I want? What's open? What's this? What's that? And I'll just dip my toes in everything and then, you know, find it that way. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. I'm like, no, not
at all. Not at all.
And that's a wrap, guys.
But like, it's just kind of like not going with the flow, but
no, dude, I hear.
It
well, you know
becomes
what it is, bro, and I think this is where we relate to. We have like a whale of curiosity, bro. Like for life, bro. Like I want to try so many. Like even this, bro. Like I swore I would never do it, and then fucking actor strikes happen, and I'm like, you know what?
I remember
so
that.
bored. I just want to sit down, have a conversation, make some clips for TikTok. And then I ended up enjoying it. I was like, oh, that was really fun. It cost me a day out of my life, and I was like, dude, it's so fun, right?
You're doing,
But it's a lot of curiosity, I'd like to say, right? We're kind of like adventurers and like pioneers, you know? These guys,
absolutely.
Pirates.
Absolutely.
Did you just say fucking pirates? No,
damn. Absolutely though. It's just being curious about it all, and
and that's
your advantage.
Bro, and that's the beautiful thing about acting, right? I want to touch on Thanksgiving too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's go. Hold on. Now you ain't getting out here without talking about that, man. Hold on. Let's talk about Thanksgiving 1, bro. Holy shit.
You were there with me with the group.
Yes. That opening scene was crazy.
Gnarly, dude.
Insane.
I'm kind of
I wasn't expecting that. Like I was expecting a bloody movie. I was like, all right, Eli Roth, you know, I'm here for it. Bro, the whole theater, every time someone's like, oh, they're like, oh my God, bro. One of my friends, I'll keep his name, you know, anonymous, literally had to leave the movie. You told me this, and when we were driving out of the movie theater, when we left the theater after the movie, he literally asked me to pull over because he had to throw up after the movie.
Dude, like, Eli, if you hear that, man.
He's like, my man, can you pull over, bro? I don't feel too good. I got to throw up. I was like, hey, bro, come on. It's just the movies. Just threw up everywhere, dude.
No, yeah, man.
So that movie, what was that experience like shooting that film from day one to the last day on set? It was so gory on the screen, but for you, like, how was it? Was that your first time working with like all that blood and all those prosthetics?
There's times where I was like completely honest. I look around and especially in the mall, the Right Mart scene. look around and see all this chaos and blood everywhere. I'm like, yo, what are we doing? It's just like, what are we doing? But I would say it was very eye-opening, and Eli and everybody on that set, like the prosthetics, the guy who did it, I'm blanking on his name, but very talented guy. He did the whale.
So real.
Yeah, he did Brian Fraser's suit in the whale.
Oh, okay, which won an Oscar.
Won an Oscar.
Yeah.
So he was like amazing that way he did, and so it's eye-opening to see Eli at his craft. He was like, him and Jeff they wanted to do this since they were little, and seeing a director know exactly what they want, but also is like, I'm gonna find something here that like this is gonna become something. And he was just he was having so much fun. Like it was like seeing a kid playing, and it was so weird to see. Not weird, but it was a good weird. Seeing Eli being like something would happen.
so much joy in something so chaotic, like someone's scalp getting ripped off.
There was one time, dude. Oh my god, it was a quick. They just used it for a quick second. Parade scene. Somebody on stilts, the clown gets hit and it goes over, and then the person driving the truck with the Mayflower on the back, not the what's the Mayflower? No, something.
I think it was, it was Mayflower. Yeah, it was because Thanksgiving.
Yeah. The person driving has that in tow slams on his brakes, and then like the front of the ship, like the little thing, goes straight through the back of the truck and nails the dude through the head, and his two little kids like, grandpa, whatever. That, when he was doing that, when we were filming that, these little kids are being covered in blood, right? And then he talks all his scenes to this microphone, right? Oh, being like, okay, look this way now, do this, do that, more blood. And so when that was happening, all you heard was,
oh my god!
And I remember I'm looking at Addison, I'm looking at Nell, and we're all just like,
it's like an evil villain behind the camera in Video Village.
But it was hilarious though, and everybody was having so much fun. But it was
dude,
it was a great time.
That's so needed though.
Yeah.
Right. It's so needed for the director, not just the director, the actors, everybody, the writers, to really enjoy the material they're working on.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is a project where the director's like, fuck, I don't know. Yeah, what are we shooting? I don't know. Just shoot it. However. Yeah. Like I feel like that's the ingredient that really is what makes a project or breaks a project.
Absolutely.
If you don't enjoy it, the process, if the love's not there for it.
Yeah.
Because it's the small details.
And that's how Eli, he's like that a lot. Yeah. And he, we were supposed to film very soon for the sequel, and he told all of us, he was like, hey man, it's like, I'm trying to get this script right. Like I want to get this script right, because I want to make what he's taking the time to be like, I'm gonna do this.
Rushing the process.
Not rushing the process, and something I respect out of but that whole Thanksgiving was
so good, man.
Amazing,
the chemistry with you, Addison, everyone.
We're all friends, man. It was.
Did you guys have fun offset? I know, because it's long hours on a movie set, but outside of set, did you guys hang out?
Oh yeah, like we were just kind of connected to the hip, all of us, and as
any fun night out stories,
dude,
that we can talk about.
So let's see. There was one, Tommaso, I think you're going to hate me for this. I don't know. No, there was one time we were just trying to get into a bar, and Tommaso, the guy who plays Evan.
Yeah, he's a little younger, right?
He's younger. He's
like, he looks older.
I think, Tommaso, were you like 17, 18? I can't remember. He was young though. Like he looks way older than me in
No, yeah. When you told me he was young, I was like, what the hell? He was like 26.
That's my boy. But he said we were trying to go out to a bar, and he had a fake, and then he gave it to a guy, and we got into a little, like, me, Gabe, Nell, I think it was all of us, Milo. We got into not a little scuffle, but like trying to protect Tommaso, being like, no, it's okay, you're not gonna get your fake back. And then Gabe like, give him his fake back. And we're like, hey, but it was
the bouncer took it?
The bouncer took the thing, and it was just like,
no, man. That's happened to me too, bro.
Gabe was like, he doesn't need to take it. Gabe's like, I'm a bouncer, this guy doesn't need to take the fake, just like, give it back, let's go. And then, but I have to admit though, the fake was like borderline McLovin, like that type of fake idea. It was just bad. It was just bad, man. But it's so much fun. We have a lot of fun stories.
That is hilarious, man. You guys shot that in Canada, yeah?
Yeah. And there was one where we were doing karaoke one night, and I sat there and watched Eli Roth sing word for word every single word of Sicko Mode.
Oh shit!
I
All
was just
right,
like-
let's go.
I was like, wow. It was just like, he grabbed the mic, stood up, and was just like, he was
Oh,
like,
hell
wait.
yeah.
He's like, this is, he just like took it.
This is
and
my
just-
song.
This is my song. And it was the craziest thing, but it's so much fun, man.
That sounds like
Memories are on
fun,
there.
man.
Yeah,
That's-
man.
Are you excited for Thanksgiving too?
Absolutely, man.
Are you guys shooting that in Canada too? For as far as you know,
I believe so, as far as I know.
All right,
but
all right.
I know a little bit about it.
Yeah,
Of course, I can't say.
yeah,
but like,
yeah.
it's. I don't think people are gonna expect to being like, it's Eli's gonna one up what he just did.
Oh,
So it's like-
shit.
It's gonna be. It's
I
gonna be
don't
gnarly.
watch movies twice often.
Yeah.
That's a movie I watched twice.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh wow, wow,
I
wow.
watched it twice. It's so good, man.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
It was so
good.
strange. We at Quentin Tarantino's theater, the New
Yeah.
Beverly,
Oh yeah.
they screened it and
Mhm.
stuff, and then they invited me and Tommaso because we were in town to
Mm-hmm.
go and see it, and it was a year after the release.
Mhm.
Oh, everybody was the sold out theater.
Yeah.
Nobody had seen it.
Oh shit.
And everybody was watching it for the first time and seeing the crowd's reaction a
Yeah.
year later
yeah, yeah.
being even more gnarly
Yeah.
was just like, I was like, wow. Like,
yeah.
me and Tommaso were like, dang, we were like a part of something that like
Yeah.
Eli was saying, like, you guys are a part
Bro,
of something
even
for life
when
now.
you broke your wrist, I was like, oh, what the?
I'm kind of mad I wasn't able to keep that.
Oh,
You know, just my arm just, like,
yeah.
Controlled it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was great,
Oh
man.
no, that's
It's a good
awesome,
time,
bro.
so
Well,
soon.
this is my last question that I always ask the guests. You know, well, second to last one. If you could give yourself any advice, your younger self, for the viewer watching this, maybe he's in the same shoes as you. What would you tell him, man? What's that one kind of? There's so much advice we could give, but like, what's that one current one that's top of mind right now that you would share?
I'd guess the cheesy one. The cheesy one would be
Golf balls.
Yeah, golf balls.
No, that was a great
Keep
analogy.
swinging. I'm
No,
kidding.
no.
I was like,
No, the one with the sand. That was
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
great. It was a
it's
great analogy.
the advice I'd give think I'd say for someone that's in my shoes or where I was, I'd say there's this Eric Thomas quote. He says, on the other side of that pain is your promise. So I think that even there's times when you feel like you can't get lower than you can. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like no matter what you do in your life, you're gonna, nothing's final except death. You know what I mean? I know it's kind of going down a deep path,
yeah.
but I tell my younger self being like just take everything with a grain of salt
Yeah.
and just keep your head up and just, you know, on the other side of that pain is your promise. If you can get through that,
100%.
it's just there's something promised to you as being like what you want and what you desire
Yeah.
is there. If you can just kind of push
Dude, I
through,
love that.
put your effort there, it's get past that thing and it's there. It's waiting for you. And that's one thing that you know, I've seen my friends and, you know, close family members and things go through is, you know, we spend a lot of time kind of never avoiding pain of like, I don't want to touch this, I don't want to do that. It's being no, confront those things even if you're scared to do something, scared to try out acting.
Yeah.
It's like push through that, try it. If you really want it, it's promised to you if you put in the work. And it's that whole saying of if you knew you couldn't fail, how many things would you try?
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's
And that door's not gonna open itself.
you gotta test it out.
You have
You know,
to test it.
Yeah.
Break that shit down. Get the hammer. Break it down. Man.
absolutely.
Something I see a lot right now on social media is a lot of people, you know, our age in their 20s, about to hit 30s, maybe they just enter their 20s. They feel so like, I almost want to say like they are cashing in the chips already.
Mhm.
I'm like, hey man, like your life's about to start.
Mhm.
Why do you have this mindset of cashing in the chips right now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's not like you just said, it's not over until it's fucking over.
Yeah,
man.
and so I'd say nothing's final. You know, I struggled with a lot of like ruminating when I was little, of kind of getting stuck in thoughts and past things, is being nothing is final. Like you you just adjust. My mom always says maturing is literally just adjustment. You know.
Yeah.
And I'd say, I guess the thing I would say is being like, you're much more than an actor. You know what I mean? You can do both. You're much more than the basketball player. You can do both. You know.
Absolutely.
I would just say, take what you want seriously, but don't take life too seriously. You know, just like, and there's no correct way to do anything. That's what.
Dude,
there's
that's
no.
what I'm
there's no
learning
path.
right
Yeah.
now, bro.
There's no-
I'm literally learning
there's-
that right now. Man.
That's the one thing, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Like, there's no correct way to do anything. We look at social media and we listen to all these, videos of how to get through certain situations or how to achieve at what we want, how to achieve things we want to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's what worked for them, other individuals, is being like, if you apply that to yourself and it helps, yes, but it's not necessarily going to be your answer.
Not the only way.
It's not the only way. It's
so many routes to your destination.
Yeah, everybody's writing their own book, and so every book's not gonna be the same. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And
why would you want it to be the same too?
Yeah. So it's this. There's no correct way to do anything.
I love that.
Jump out there, try.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington says, "Fall down 7 times, get up 8."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I love that, Jalen. Thank you so much. Where can the audience find you on the socials? And where's your attention currently on? I like to ask those 2 questions.
My attention is currently on. I'd say
I do that for the actors campus, but I'm doing it for the pod now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Those 2 questions,
cool.
Because I hate when people are like, "What's next?" I'm like, well, what's next is I do this, and then I do that, and then you know what? What's next is I eventually die, and then I get buried. And that's what's next. If you ask
and
me
the
that
person just
times.
like looking at you, just like,
okay. So I don't like that. It's like, ask me where my attention's on currently.
Okay, yeah.
You know
well, Instagram, just Jalen Thomas Brooks, just straight tag. I'm not really
star name right there, bro.
Yeah,
Jalen Thomas
like
Brooks.
3 names.
Did you see that Jalen Thomas Brooks movie?
That's crazy. Man. But yeah, there, and my attention right now is currently on just trying to relax and writing, reading, and just trying to get a routine down. And of course, future projects and
Thanksgiving too.
Thanksgiving too.
Chew.
Season 2 for the Pit.
Yeah, let's
some
go,
other
man.
things,
Hell yeah.
My attention is just seeing what happens, and then
Absolutely.
whatever the next step is. Like I said, I'm just gonna be focused on that. I'm gonna laser on it for 3-4 months.
I love it.
And then I'll be back to square one, just like everybody else, So
my brother.
just floating with the wind, man.
Thank you, bro. Great interview.
Thank you. Yeah,
Great time. Adios.
What do I say? It's adios.
No, you can say it in French. Bonjour. Oh no, that's Italian. I thought of Eli Roth. I thought of
bye.
Eli. And they're like, Antonio Margariti.
Guerlami.
Oh yeah.
Guerlami.
No, one more time. Gorlami.
That's it.
Gorlami, guys.
Guerlami.